Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. We're still joined by Chancellor Kyle Carter. So over the course of the semester, you've had 2 new additions to your office, and most of them spent time in the athletic department. Former athletic director Dan Kenny, and then our former administrative assistant Marla Locklear. How are they faring in their new roles over here working with you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I've been reluctant to go into the athletic offices because I was afraid the coaches might be upset with me for rating. But seriously, I think they understood the qualities of both of those individuals and know why I was happy to have them come over. You can't get a better person than Dan Kenny in terms of his integrity and organizational skills, his loyalty. Anyone that's ever met Dan knows that he is a quality person, and he was the perfect person to become my chief of staff because I was looking for that kind of individual. And Marla, has she ever had a bad day? She is always going to greet people warmly. She will get the job done well and is a great ambassador. So we would like to have the first team in the Chancellor's office, and I think we have the first team in the Chancellor's office.
Well, that's exciting, but since we no longer have Dan, we have definitely a new interim or acting athletic director in Patrick Turk. He's worked closely with you and also with Dan Kenny since late October when he took over. How do you think he's done over the last 2 months, and what was your confidence like in placing him in that role?
Okay, well, let me talk about the confidence part first. Patrick was hired to be our really first full-time compliance officer and in a permanent capacity. Patrick is an attorney, has great organizational skills, he loves athletics, and he's very, very thorough, and I saw that in how he approached the compliance issue, and obviously that's a very important one for athletics, as you know. So with that as a background, we began to look for an interim for Dan, and I went to the coaches and asked them, give me some ideas. Who would you like to see in this interim role? And a large number of them came forward with Patrick's name for many of the reasons that I mentioned. They knew that he would be on the job, take care of them, he could be firm when he needed to be, and would really do a good job. And that's what Patrick's done to this point. So as we look for our new athletic director, Patrick is doing a really fine job in keeping us moving forward.
Well, talking about looking for a new athletic director, can you explain the process that UNCP is undergoing, and how should UNCP fare with a new athletic director coming in?
Okay. Well, I know some folks probably have seen larger Research One institutions go out and get an athletic director, and it's a fairly quiet search where they'll go and make some phone calls, and then a week later they announce a new athletic director. Division II schools are a little different in many ways, especially since our coaches also teach. So we have formed a committee that's being chaired by the Dean of the School of Education, Zoe Locklear. Faculty are on that group, student athletes are on that committee, coaches are on that committee, and others from the community as well as staff. That group is helped to provide some information about the position description, which I ultimately approved, and it's posted. But in addition to that, we have a search firm, Coleman Liu, who've done quite a few searches in athletics, and they're very familiar with this institution and the Peach Belt Conference. And they're generating an applicant pool of athletic director candidates. So once that happens, Coleman and Liu will screen those and give the search committee a group of individuals, somewhere probably less than 20, that they think could potentially be the athletic director here, and then they'll work together to come up with a list of finalists that we will then bring to campus for interviews. We hope that we can have this search completed by the end of January so that we can make an announcement of the athletic director early February. And depending on that person's personal circumstance, would take on the job in early March or might have to wait till July if they're under contract.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been a joy talking with you today. And thank you. And that's my interview with Chancellor Carter. And up next, we're going to watch a student intern project by Lizzie Bundy on women's golfer Shauna Waller. So stay tuned.